Do you have a good working memory? Imagine a post-it note, unassumingly laying on a shelf somewhere. Scribbled on it is an idea that could change the entire world for the better. How sad would this be if this idea were left there indefinitely, forever forgotten and unfulfilled? Let's talk about that. See, executing and fulfilling ideas is the easy part. Changing the world for the better and not having to scribble down the idea in the first instance is another matter. In fact, it involves a lot of white matter, the tissues and wrinkles between your brain. Your brain is a miracle. If you had a conversation with your brain, it'll probably go something like this. Hi, amazing you, it's me, your brain, the most powerful, amazing machine ever created. I've been trying to reach out to you lately about how I can become supercharged and improve areas of all life. The thing is, there's an obstacle or blockage that's blocking me. Can you help me? And that blockage was something that I experienced a couple of years ago. The mummy brain phenomenon. Call it what you will, the baby brain drain, mumnesia. The phenomenon of forgetfulness is a fact of life for mums. And this particular brand of forgetfulness can leave someone who once never forgot a face into a blithering idiot. Like the time when I was putting butter back in the pantry and the bread in the refrigerator. Or the time when my husband came home and asked, why is the TV remote control in the fridge again? Which I calmly responded, because I wanted to keep things cool and fresh, of course. But I knew at that moment I had to do something about it. The thing is, where does one unlock one's true potential in an ever unpredictable world? The discourse in personal practices seems to fall under two camps, one of speeding up and the other one of slowing down. Not so much at odds with each other as disconnected, each camp oblivious to the relevance of the other. On one side of the camp of speeding up, here we look at doing more, getting more, becoming better, bigger, stronger. We focus on identifying passions, getting to the flow state, and hack everything. You know, the Tim Ferriss style, the answers are out there, the digital tools are put within reach. The only question is, what's stopping you? The other side of the camp are about slowing down. Here we look at mindfulness, meditation, digital detox. The answers are there within you if you just shut out the distractions long enough to listen. So which one is the best suited camp, and where does one begin to find the trees in the forest? Personally for me, I didn't want to pick up another book on memory learning, nor did I want to search endlessly on the internet of something that could potentially confuse me. They say that practice makes perfect, but I could be practicing the wrong thing and still be perfect at it. So I hired a memory coach and an expert in the field, Tanzu Ali. And working with my memory coach was like having Tim Ferriss and the Dalai Lama as a muse to my own personal learning. I was able to reconcile both of the camps. And this required learning how to learn in an intelligent way, which involves brain hacking, and also purposeful practice so that you become breathtakingly efficient. The discovery was simple. There's no such thing as having a bad memory, just a trained brain or an untrained brain. And I love saying that. Just to give you a further example, I want to show you a journey of how I became a human guinea pig to these personal practices, and accidentally along the way broken a 12-year national standing record at the Australian Memory Championship. Held over a 2-day event, contenders must recall an exorbitant amount of information. Just to give you an idea, Johannes Mallow from Germany in 5 minutes can recall over 100 random dates and events. 30 seconds later, he can tell you the running order of a deck of cards. Contenders are also tasked with recalling over 2,000 word digits and the running order of 12 deck of cards. These were some of the superhero of memory. They were trained in exhausting up to 16 hours a day. Leading up to the competition, here's how I imagined I would train. Right? The exhausting drilling and locking myself up for 12 hours a day. And here's how I actually trained. Needless to say, I was a new mum, and although every passing has its beauty, I did not expect to be in this position. Leading up to the event, I thought perhaps I should really care whether I should embarrass myself or my country. Never did it occur to me that during my training that someday I would go head to head with some of these superhero athletes. Initially, I only wanted to make peace by putting butter and the bread in the right place. And with a pre-toddler by my side, it was just a feat to find time to shower, put on some clothes, and function like an average adult. So to put it simply, I was like the beer league soccer right fielder, and they were the Real Madrid. So the results was very surprising. In year one, I managed to put in 5 weeks, 20 hours of practice, and was Australia's runner-up champion. Like a true contender or a human guinea pig, battling out my morning sickness in my first trimester, in my second year, I managed to put 3 weeks, 15 hours, and broken a national record in the 5 minutes category. Now, this is not to show you that I want to impress you in any way, but rather to remind you that the human potential is there and that anyone can become a superhero athlete. It does require a good dosage of self-belief, a great coach, and of course, removing personal blockages. So the key message for you is that as we nourish our minds, spirits, and bodies, as well through growth, exploration, as well as through rest, when both camps of speeding up and slowing down are to be understood as complementary and to be used to reinforce each other, then the unlocking that human potential is far greater. This then begs the question, what if, and back to our post-it note. What if we could change the entire world through memory education? See, questions hijack the brain. The moment you hear one, you can't think of anything else. Okay? So what does hope sound like? What does courage feel like? What do actions look like? How do things get better? See, as Bill Drayton once said, social entrepreneurs are not just content to give a fish or teach how to fish. They will not rest until they revolutionise the whole fishing industry. Does this sound like you? Because memory doesn't just help individuals. It can actually work across 3 scales, at the micro, the meso, and at the macro level, to make a real positive impact. More than just recalling names and numbers and lists, at the micro level, you can see that students and kids can become really efficient in their learning. They become self-regulated, independent learners. This means they can become and lead their own learning. Which one of these learners is you? Do you go to school and learn a lot and then nothing else, which is what most people do? Or do you learn a new skill every couple of years, which is what most ambitious people do? Or would you rather be the learner that would learn new skills, new things, try out new things every month, even every week, just by adopting memory techniques? And this is what the top performers are doing. We already know that at this level of impact, everyone has the capacity to unlock their imagination and jumpstart any project. As we move out at the meso level into groups, we are simultaneously solving problems in businesses, schools, education, and adding value to our communities. What if learning a memory skill could change the trajectory of many lives? What if, say, it makes a difference in, say, my homeland in Vietnam, a place where I and thousands of refugees have left nothing with our clothes on our backs, voyaging out to sea on a leaky boat in search for a better opportunity? See, education is a backbone of a successful society such as Australia, where everybody is given the privilege, the right, and the opportunity for the best education possible. This is not always possible in the world in many impoverished places, where people still try and find food, and shelter and healthcare. Memory education then is not a luxury. It is a gateway to survival and sanity. Can memory come in and be the panacea to eradicate poverty? Can it just eclipse and cast a shadow on some of the poorest problems? Not likely, but it can create ladders of opportunities. It can bring hope. It can bring better food on the table, and really ladders of opportunities for all students of life. All in all, while this is happening, we are arguably at a point where we need memory education more than ever to prepare for a workforce of the absolute unknown. So here we look at where we are at with Thomas Frey predicting that in the year 2030, life would be that instead of handing over your resume to your prospective employers, you're handing in your latest brain scan. He sees that humans and robots will be learning at unprecedented rates, depth and breadth. This is interesting because in antiquity, memory education was considered a form of basic education, but somehow this was lost in the 21st century. So what we're doing right now, currently we're teaching 4-year degree students of content that is likely out of date by the time that they graduate. Consultants around the world are telling the same story. Graduates don't have the skills employers are looking for. So if we are to shift to 21st century thinkers and problem solvers, the world then needs to create 21st century learners. And this means we need to equip students that are more collaborative, more resilient, and to develop the next practice, not best practice, to welcome some of the world's problems. It is really quite simple. Changing your brain for the better leads to changing the world for the better. But all in all, let's not refer to memory as a common noun, but rather as a verb. Let's tell the story about what is taking place. So I'm calling out to you, the movers, the shakers, the change makers, the ship shifters, the superheroes. This is our time to step forward. And I'd like to invite you to make a difference in a short philosophy. So imagine you have 3 pebbles and you're sitting in the middle of an ocean, a puddle, or a pond. How would you make the biggest difference? If you were to take your first pebble and you were to cast it into the ocean, the vast constituency of the sea, your pebble would be so tiny and a small impact. If you were to cast your second pebble into the puddle, you'll be making a big splash, big impact, but it's very short-lived. However, if you were to cast your pebble, the final one, okay, into the pond, your energy will create unsurmountable ripples that could change the world for the better. Each of you today have been given an envelope with a gift inside in casting your intentions. Okay? Like you, every pebble is unique and has been collected around the world from the loving energies of people for you to cast back. So in changing the world for the better, through creating stories and memories for your children and grandchildren, you are a part of this unfolding story. So I hope you join me in casting your inspired actions, and together we can revolutionise the whole fishing industry. Thank you.